I'd like to zoom in on that oscillator section and start taking a look at some of the cool things we can do with the advanced oscillator options. Right now, I can pick a different sound source and then change the timbre a little bit and change the sample start time in a sample-based oscillator. You'll notice that disappears in the synth-based oscillator. But then you get the shape, symmetry, and synchronization of the synth, as well as an analog knob and a phase knob. So some different options depending on what type of sound source you're working with, and that makes sense. But let's zoom in and see them all. I'll click on the magnifying glass, and that opens up the oscillator zoom section. At the top, you'll see a bunch of different pages that we can do some alterations to the current sound we've got loaded up. Here on the left, you can see where I can transpose the current sound. So if I do that while I'm playing, you'll hear it go up or down a step depending on where I click. Just like that. So you can transpose the current element. You can alter the pitch of it in coarse and fine mode. Now in sample mode also we've got keyboard tracking where it will alter the pitch of the sound as you alter the keys. It'll play a different root note for every key you play, and that's normally what you want. However, if I disable keyboard tracking, you'll hear if I play the notes C, D, E, F. So right in the middle, you heard the first two notes, C and D, played the same sound, and E, F, maybe even G, maybe even A. Wow, E, F, G, A. So obviously the sample range is 4 notes. As I get to the next note, it starts to shift up again. So now I'm hearing the actual rooted samples. They're not being pitch stretched at all. They're moving along as they were sampled. This was sampled in fourths. If I enable key tracking, now it will move that sample and pitch shift it to match the keyboard sound. There we go. Now, in the main area, we've got nothing different from out front. You can switch the sample sound, and you can even reverse it if you're using a cool sound. So if I switch, this one reversed won't make much of a difference, but let's check out Clock Shop. So if I hit the sound here, we've got that percussive start, but if I hit reverse, well, suddenly I'm scoring for a horror movie. Kind of cool. I'll reload the original sound. I've got timbre movement, and shift and crush allow subtle or drastic changes in timbre. So I'll do some shifting. Now crush is going to be a heck of a lot more serious. So it might be cool to right-click that and assign that to a MIDI controller because you can really do some cool stuff with that. And then finally, for sample-based instruments, you can adjust the start time and how it ramps up to the start of the instrument. So if you want to get rid of a percussive mess at the beginning of your sound, or you want it to just completely ignore the attack of the sound, that's where you do it. If I load up a synth-based instrument, the oscillator zoom will look a little bit different and give you access to more synth-based controls. But for the most part, it's still the same. We'll take a look next at these different pages of tabs and how we can use them to make some cool adjustments for our sounds.